The motion for a moratorium feels as though it was made in an effort to force the hand of the Stormwater Department and to punish the private sector for not doing what council wanted them to do in the time frame they wanted.
That's Executive Officer Anna Maria Long with the Flagler Home Builders Association talking about a failed building moratorium at this week's Palm Coast City Council meeting. At the meeting, Palm Coast City Councilwoman Teresa Pontieri tried to enact a 45-day building moratorium in response to residents' concerns of flooding due to new construction. Long said that would have had a devastating impact on the Flagler County economy.
Residential construction is an economic generator for the local economy. The proposed building moratorium, it is not a brief pause that will cause no harm. I have calculated data according to the National Association of Home Builders Local Impact Report for the 294 infill lots that were built in the last 90 days. I'm going to equate that into dollars and jobs for you. That will account to $59.7 million in local income lost, $17.7 million in local business owners' income, $42 million in local wages and salaries, $11 million in local taxes and fees, 997 local jobs supported will be lost.
While builders were well represented at the meeting, City Hall was also packed with supporters of Pontieri's proposed moratorium.
45 days doesn't seem unreasonable and stop this locomotive building that's going on in this town.
90 days moratorium. Nobody's going to go hungry with that. This is what we are told all the time.
The moratorium would not be an issue if they listened and acted on the flooding issues of elevated lots in a timely manner.
I agree that we need to have a 45-day or minimum pause period on these foundations, on this construction. I've done construction for most of my life. I understand what it's like to have to put a pause on things, and we're all trying to make ends meet, but it shouldn't be the financial burden of homeowners who have to bear the weight of that. If the city hasn't put ordinances in place that allow for a minimum height, that's the city's responsibility.
The proposed moratorium failed when Pontieri's motion did not receive a second. Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Thursday, January 18th. A DUI driver going through Flagler County is caught and arrested.
While returning from a Martin Luther King Jr. Day event in Palm Coast, Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley spotted a black Chevrolet approaching the entrance of Andalusia Trail at State Route 100 West with heavy passenger side damage. The driver, 35-year-old Crystal Miller, told Sheriff Staley her side of the story.
The driver had told me that she was a dancer at one of the bars in Daytona Beach and had been at Interlochen in Putnam County all night partying at a bachelor party, and was on her way home when she allegedly fell asleep and ran off the road.
There was more to tell when deputies found Miller with drugs.
The driver was ultimately arrested for cocaine, fentanyl, heroin, and an assortment of other illegal narcotics.
Sheriff Staley says incidents like this won't be tolerated in Flagler County.
We have a zero tolerance when it comes for illegal drugs and driving impaired. I hope she enjoys Ladies' Day at the Green Roof Inn.
For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you. Why is the Junior Chamber involved in the upcoming Child Health Fair?
The Child Health Fair is coming up on February 24th, and while it is the data from the Palm Coast Flagler Regional Chamber of Commerce that showed who needed help, President and CEO Greg Blasé said it was the Junior Chamber's project that created the health fair.
There's a lot of people in this community in Flagler County as a whole that are living in poverty. And I think that number is somewhere around 20% for the Bunnell 32111 zip code, and it's around 16 to 17% for the 32137 zip code. Those are the two highest.
Blasé said that 1 out of 5 or 6 kids needs resources, and the health fair will help bring those resources out to the community so that parents don't have to go looking for it. You can listen to Flagler Health Matters here on WNZF on Saturday mornings at 11:30 and on the Flagler radio app. Tomorrow, let's talk about the fun at the fair. From the WNZF newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.